Dear Chaverim, a gute Woche. It's Motzoi, Shabbos, Parshas V'aschanon, Shabbos Nachamu. There has to be a link, a connection between the theme of Nachamu that we all need and words of inspiration that we all need, specifically as it relates to the imminent coming of Mashiach. Came another Tisha B'Av, and again our hopes were so high that this is it, that this year on Tisha B'Av Mashiach is coming. And now we're standing afterwards, Va'adayin lo ba. Obviously for people that don't really hope, they don't really have a disappointment. But how is it possible to go on when you hope, when you really hope, and you mean it, and it's about to happen? And if you're going back, and Pesach comes, Mashiach is not here. Shavuos comes, Mashiach is not here. Tisha B'Av, Va'adayin lo ba, this is Taka the week that we have to have a Nachamu. And we have to have a new sense of inspiration to keep on going. There is something amazing that we find in the portion of V'aschanon that we don't find in any other place. V'aschanon el Hashem, Moshe Rabbeinu was pleading with Hashem that Hashem should allow him to enter then Eretz Yisrael. And as the Midrash tells us that the word V'aschanon has the numerical value of 515, meaning that Moshe Rabbeinu imagined davened 515 times. Now Hashem, who is the master of the world, Hashem can say yes and Hashem can say no. And for the first 515 times, Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu no. But yet we find something unique, as it says in this parsha, that after Moshe Rabbeinu pleaded and implored for the 515 times, Vayomer Hashem Elai Ravloch, Hashem tells Moshe Rabbeinu, enough. Don't ask for this anymore. And the question is, where do we find such a thing? Hashem is asking Moshe or telling Moshe to stop asking? Let Moshe Rabbeinu ask. Hashem can tell him no. Says the Rebbe, from here we learn something very powerful. What is really being implied here is that Hashem is teaching us that if Moshe Rabbeinu would have asked one more time, even though by God's plan it wasn't yet the time for Moshe Rabbeinu to enter, Moshe Rabbeinu would have asked again. Hashem would have had to have told him yes. And therefore Hashem asks Moshe Rabbeinu, stop asking. And there's a very powerful lesson for us. The power of asking. That when you ask for something and you're told no, and you ask again, and Nachamu no, 515 times you should know that if you were to ask one more time, there comes a point that being that we are so close to Hashem, we are children to Hashem, we are connected to Hashem, Hashem cannot tell us no. The koyach of prayer and the importance of the perseverance of not stopping to ask for that which needs to happen. And I would like to share a beautiful story that underlines the gewaldige koyach of prayer. While back, there was an elderly woman that was in an old age home. Her family, her children, her grandchildren used to visit her regularly. And they get a phone call from the old age home with the terrible news that this woman passed away. And she was given a kfuras Yisrael, and the family was sitting Shiva. And on the 5th day of the Shiva, the phone rings in the house. One of her daughters picked up the phone, and who's on the other line? The Nefteres, this elderly woman. The daughter hears the voice of her mother, she faints. After a while, the line drops. They revive the daughter, they put the phone back on where it belongs. The phone rings again, and Nachamu, the mother, is on the line. And they can't believe it. And she is saying, Kindalach, why did you not visit me this week? Wow. So what happened was they discovered is that this elderly woman had a roommate. It was the roommate that passed away. And the old age home made a mistake. And they notified the wrong family. Meaning they buried the other woman. Well, first of all, it was Mamash HaSimcha. The mama leapt. The baba leapt. But now someone has to do the difficult job of notifying the family of the older woman. Not only that she passed away, but she passed away almost a week ago and she was already buried, v'chulei, v'chulei. One of the family members of the woman that's now known to be alive says she's up to that task. And she picks up the phone, and a man answers, one of the sons of that woman, and she tells them that I have some very difficult news, that your mother passed away. To which this man responds, well, if that's the case, then we want to have her cremated. Rahman al-Itzlan. Wow. Now it became even harder. To which the woman responds, listen, I have something very unusual to share with you, that there was a terrible mistake, and the passing was already almost a week ago, but they confused your mother with my mother, and we buried her, a proper burial with all of the honors. We were already sitting Shiva for her, etc. She shared the story. And she did not know how this man is going to react. And his reaction was, he said, this is amazing. What's pshat? This is amazing. So he says that for years, our mother believes in God, and she's connected to Yiddishkeit, and we are not. Actually, we are all atheists. And whenever our mother brought up the importance that after her 120, she wants to be buried the way a Jew is to be buried, we told her, Ma, grandmother, we're going to have you cremated. We don't believe in all this. Now, her nature was not, how dare you go against my wishes. Her response to that was, you want to cremate me? I'm going to get buried. I'm going to pray that Hashem should make sure that I come to a Jewish burial. And actually, every day she would daven to God, asking God that she should come to Kvuras Yisrael. Says her son, we used to laugh at her in our hearts. She's davening to God. They didn't believe in a God. Let's see what's going to happen. After she passes away, we will make that decision. And here it turns out that actually God listened to her prayers. This is the power of prayer. And this is the power that we have. And this is the Nachamu that we walk out with this Shabbos. That even though we are in Golus for almost 2,000 years, and credit to the Rebbe, that he infused in us this emunah of the emes, that we are mamish at the last moments of the Golus. And Mashiach is mamish about to come. And what we need to do is to ask for it. And it's going to happen. That even though another day came and another day went, and we're not yet redeemed, nevertheless we know we walk out on the Shabbos with the knowledge that all we need to do is ask just one more time, because it will be this one more time that will do it. And when we sincerely call out the way the Rebbe demands of us to shout out Ad Mosai, Hashem will answer our prayers. And Keheref Ayin, this Motzai Shabbos, we're going to celebrate the redemption with Mashiach Tzidkenu. Amen. Agute und a freiliche Woche to all.